quickly looking at the kind of people we offer for campaign operations. Now, leaving out our regular A's, SA's, subject matter experts, the development team that is, there are two specialized roles which we offer. This is specifically for the client, and if you look at the first one, it's the campaign project manager. Now, this resource could be either onshore or offshore, and obviously he does coordinate with all the teams, including the client teams of the marketing, production. The production team normally would be eClerx team. Uh, there is definitely coordination with this person. A key look at his KPIs. Now we're looking at a person, or we would be deploying somebody who is very good at planning, workflow management, tracking of the campaign. He would be the one who would chase people for approvals, whether it's the eClerx based developers or the clients. There would be status updates. There could be daily, weekly calls, which he would be setting and governing. And of course the root cause analysis in case there's an error. So this is one role which we offer. The second one is the consultant. Now this one is primarily an onshore role. The activities would be quite similar when it comes to coordination and with various teams. However, this person's KPI is a little different. Now, when we're talking about a consultant, we're talking about a person who has experience in one or more marketing automation platforms. This guy will know segmentation logic, the different use cases where people would like to segment their customer list. The person may even know hands-on on the marketing automation platform the client is using, so that person may even do coding himself. Uh, and not only the coding part, workflow management, building the journeys, deploying the campaign, auditing the campaign. In case the client would want to do some kind of integration, then this person would know how to do those integrations. This person will also give suggestions and recommendations to the client, and hence the consultant role. Other than these roles, if you go to the next slide, the key process controls. Now, eClerx definitely builds a lot of controls which help us manage campaign operations better. These are a few controls. Again, there are many more, but these are some controls which we can call out. The first one is the workflow tool. Now, this one is called workroute, but eClerx has other workflow tools as well. The basic idea is not all clients have a workflow management system in place. So some of the clients may be still following old methods of sending requests using emails or filling up an Excel file and then emailing the Excel file. So what eClerx recommends is that in case you don't have a workflow management tool, then we will onboard the entire process on an internal workflow tool. Now, though it's internal, we can still give access to the clients so that they can add their requests and monitor the campaign build activities. We have something called a launch predictor or the SLA calculator. Now, this is applicable to all campaign management tools and teams. It's a file which basically allows a marketer to know real time. If I'm the marketer, for example, and I want to launch a campaign on a particular date, using this file, I will know two things. One is if I really want to launch the campaign on a particular date, by when I need to give assets to the development team so that they can meet the deadline. And the second thing is, in case there are any other campaigns planned on the same date or near the same date, then this tool will also tell me that I need to work with my other marketing colleagues to reprioritize some campaigns so that if my campaign is really important, then my campaign can go through and the team has enough capacity to work on my campaign. Now, this file takes historical data. it looks at all the work which is there in the pipeline. Historically, it will see for different marketing people, how delayed are their assets, how many times the request changes, which we call a change request. So taking all that into account, it will basically prescribe the actual SLA for a campaign. When it comes to the audit space, we have an internal tool which is a Chrome-based, Google Chrome basically based plugin, which will allow us to do audits. And if you notice, there are around 10 plus checkpoints over here. Now these checkpoints are normally done manually, but because of this tool, we can actually do it automatically. If you look at the checkpoints, we're looking at broken links. We're looking at how the subject line will be looking at, like, when the email goes out. Since if I'm doing HTML coding for that email right from scratch, by looking at the font family, I will come to know if I'm actually using the correct branding guidelines which are prescribed by the client. So this is a plugin which increases the audit speed. DE and AMP script creator, this is very specific for Salesforce Marketing Cloud, where this automates the creation of DEs. DE is like a lookup table in the marketing platform, Salesforce Marketing Cloud. It's also called a data extension. And AMP script is basically the coding language which is used in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So this is basically an automation specifically for Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Some more audit-based automations. Now this is very important, and which we do, the post-production audit. So once a life cycle campaign or an always-on campaign is deployed, now before it gets deployed, I've done all my checks, and I'm satisfied, and that's why I would make the campaign live. But do understand that this is an always-on campaign. It runs on a daily basis. So what guarantees that something which was working fine today is going to work exactly the same way after, say, a month or maybe 2 months? Now remember, some campaigns have links which take the customer to a mark or to a merchant website. Now today the merchant website is working fine, or that link is working fine, but after 1 or 2 months or 1 or 2 weeks, maybe the merchant has made some changes, and that link may not really work, and then that would be a broken link. Another issue which we normally face is today it's working fine on iPhone devices, on Android devices. Now between today and say after 3 months, there was an iOS update or an Android update, because of which after 3 months the rendering on iPhone devices is failing. Now this post-production audit, which is an automated system, will actually flag such issues. The moment an issue is flagged, the team can identify what the problem is, fix it if possible immediately, so that the next day's run is not affected. In case it is not fixable immediately, then they can pause the campaign, talk to the marketer, get additional links, or spend that extra time fixing it, so that finally when they reactivate the campaign, the email goes out fine. The same tool can be used for automated QC as well. So basically, you build the email and you manually upload it in this tool, and it can do all the checks. So that's the call out on automated QCs. In general, when you're talking about the quality controls which we have specifically to do with campaign operations, broadly classified in 3 categories. So UI and HTML QC, or the QA. So we're looking at coding, we're looking at the layouts, functionality talks about whether the links are working or no, or when you click a link, does it open in a fresh browser tab or no. So these are the functionality checks. I spoke a little bit about rendering and responsiveness, and also spell checks, right? So if it's English, then we can definitely run an automated spell check mechanism to see if spellings are correct. We also increase our QA scope to platform QA. So when we're talking about platform QA, we're looking at specifically on email parameters, right? So we're looking at subject line, the header, something called a pre-header, the reply to address. So basically, I've received a marketing email. When I click on reply to, who should it go to? So all that is validated. We're also looking at opt-out links, privacy policies. So these are very platform-specific things which are validated. This is the data part, segmentation, right? We're looking to see if the correct list has been attached to the correct email. At times, you're working on multiple email creatives for a particular campaign, and these multiple creatives will have multiple data lists or segments which get attached to it. So, has the correct mapping been done? We're talking about structure, the actual structure. We're talking about everything to do with the campaign. So a campaign need not just be an email, right? A campaign can have, it could be multi-channel. So it could have an email, it could have a landing page, it could have SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook integration. So we are looking at the entire structure to see if everything is working. And then the final thing is the delivery, right? Remember, there are specific checks which tell me if my email will actually be flagged as a spam email. So that's what we say spam trigger keywords. And there are specific rules which can even blacklist your campaign. So all that is validated before the email can be deployed. And then we're talking about another round of QAs, right? So different stages, and I think we spoke a little bit about this in some previous videos. So each stage has a QA, which is a checklist-driven QA. So when the input comes, we have an RA, which is like a request analysis, which is again it's a checklist which checks to see if the input is correctly received. We have an RTB, which, if you remember, translates the targeting criteria, which is in plain English, to proper criteria which the developer or the coder can understand. When the build is complete, when the email is finally built, we again do another round of internal audits using a checklist to see if everything has been accommodated, if there are multiple changes which have come in. This is normally the case. We get multiple change requests. So if the changes have been accommodated and they've correctly been done in the email before it goes to the marketer for their approval. There's something called ELT, which is email live testing, or basically in layman terms, pre-go live checks, where we will simulate an email send, basically send an email to a test set of people, and this allows us to check everything, rendering, segmentation, links. So we do all the checks again. Very important over here is personalization. So this pre-go live check also helps us to ensure that the personalization is actually working. Later on, when we look at some different types of complex emails we build, you will notice that there are some emails where the body of the email changes depending on the data file. So we can hide a section, we can show a section depending on components of the data file. So all that can be validated when we do a pre-go live check. And as I mentioned earlier, once the campaign goes live, we have automated post-go live checks, which ensures that the email will continue going fine for the rest of its term. We do something called a perception-based check as well, where this is like an additional value add we give to the client. So we basically are looking at the email from a customer's perspective. So if I'm a customer and I receive the email, when I look at it, what do I feel? So these involve additional checkpoints. We're looking at indentation, we're looking at grammar, spellings. Say it's an email which has Chinese text in it. When I click on the link, does it take me to a localized Chinese page or no? So those kind of things we validate over here. That's all for this session. Thank you so much.